Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your monthly reading. This is for the month of April, and I can't wait to share all the information, the energy, and the insight that's coming through for your sign this month. As always, you can use this for your sun sign, your rising, as well as your moon. And if there's someone in your life that you care about, you can use this video to help them or see what's going on with them. If you don't happen to know all three signs, by the way, don't worry, just stick with the sign that you're born under and you will receive the guidance that you need. All right, so quick note on structure before we get into the reading. I like to separate this into three parts, starting with some channeled information. We'll get right into that in a second. Then I look at a full Celtic cross so that we can see the overarching message or energy for the month. And then I look at some specific areas that I know you all appreciate, including health, wealth, love, and destiny. If you enjoy what you see here, I ask that you stay around until the end. I do include a little bit of information there about how you can give back, schedule an appointment, or simply join me on social media. I'm going to put that at the bottom here as well very quickly, but I like to waste no time and get straight into the reading because I know that's why you're all here and there's a lot of information coming through for you. With that being said, let's go ahead now and talk about your channeled information. As I selected a deck of cards and began to meditate on what was coming through for your sign, I saw the figure eight or infinity first and foremost, and then I saw the image of stars moving outward, kind of like the Big Bang. And I wrote down the following in automatic writing. I said, you are infinite and you are moving. And the moving portion was because there is an illusion sometimes that we are not going anywhere. And I've mentioned this in other videos, but I'm gonna say it here as well, which, you know, right now it feels like you and I are just sitting. But if you think about it, everything's actually moving. The Earth is rotating on its axis. It's also in an elliptical orbit around the sun. This solar system is in one of the arms of the Milky Way, and it moves as well. This galaxy is part of a local system of galaxies which is pushing out towards the edge of the known universe. This universe in and of itself could also be part of a multiverse, and so within each of those universes is the same sort of action, and so there's constant perpetual motion going on. In essence, what's really dormant or really sort of holding you back is thought or perception. And when you change the perception, in this case, maybe I am stuck, this isn't moving fast enough, I'm not getting where I need to be, or perhaps that the universe isn't working for you, then suddenly you start to shift what's going on around you. When you start to feel like, I can make this happen, it's going to happen faster than I thought, I'm ready for change, then the universe starts to feel what's going on, and it's kind of like you become the sun and you start to manifest and bring things into your energy rather than being a satellite that is being moved around things and feeling like you have no control. So this month I want you to move into that place of being the sun or the star that I was seeing in the vision, and then I want you to start to pick up momentum and feel like you're moving and moving things around you. When you start to become the star or the sun, or you have this energy that you feel like you are emanating, then you are able to constantly kind of stay in motion. You are infinite. And if we think of a star, they have incredibly long lives. They have a nearly inexhaustible energy source. And if we take them at the very beginning of their lives, they can often supernova, create a new star and a new sort of energy system around them. So there's even a second birth that happens. And, it depends on how large it is, but that can happen once or twice. And even at the end of their lives, they're still beautiful and glowing, and pretty much those white dwarfs are glowing until the end of time. So you are infinite. You are just like that star, and you are constituted from the remains of a star. Everything around us is. So remember that, tap into that energy. Visualize that, or visualize holy energy coming through you this month. And when you're feeling a little bit tapped out or a little bit less than, remember, you are actually more than. And that's really what this is. You are infinite. You are moving towards your goal. Change the perception, call in the energy, call in the light, connect to something bigger and brighter than you, and remember that that is also still you. It's an echo of what you once were and what you could become. All right. That's your message. It's kind of cosmic, but I like it, and I think that it can be very powerful if you meditate on that a little bit. Let's now navigate into the cards and see what messages they have to say, and maybe there are some messages here about where the perceived limits are, how to break through them, and where there's opportunity to shift and move. I'm going to pull the camera down, and at this point I like to remain quiet. I just want to observe the cards, their locations, and the meanings just like you. In your catalyst position, you have the bat. The card was reversed, but let's take a look at it in its upright position and talk a little bit about how this can relate to you. First and foremost, it's a nocturnal animal and very nocturnal energy here. We see the beautiful moon above the bat. And the first thing that I picked up on when I saw this was listen. Because of course, bats have an amazing ability to use sound to navigate. And for you, I want you to listen to your intuition, listen to any clairaudient messages that are coming through, and also pay attention to conversations going on this month. There may be a subtext, there may be something that someone is trying to say right below the surface, right beneath it, or they may be using certain cues that they want you to pick up on. Subtlety in language, communication, body language is key. So I want you to use all of your available senses to listen and to perceive things. And sometimes you don't want to trust what you see. Bats' eyesight, not very good. Their listening and their intuition and their ability to sort of use other senses are amazing. So this is a month where your senses could throw you off a little bit. And I would say even what you hear, there again could be something hidden beneath it. I want you to be inquisitive. I want you to ask questions if you think that there's something that you need to know or there's a follow-up. And always kind of look for illusions versus reality here, because whenever I get a nocturnal card, whether it's the moon or something like this, there is a chance to get to the truth, to get to the light of a situation. But there is a lot of cloudiness and murkiness around it. I think it's all about communication, and it's all about your psychic and intuitive skills this month. You want to use them. Beautiful card, beautiful illustration. The card was reversed, so remember, you want to look at the bright side of things. You want to try to get through illusions, and you want to trust intuition over typical senses that you would have, because it won't lead you astray, but perhaps they will. So we have some interesting cards at the center and also in the environment and ego. Let's talk about them first, and then we'll see how they interplay with everything. Right at the center, you have the Ace of Cups in reverse. In the ego, the Devil, also reversed. Three of Cups in the environment, also reversed. So when we're looking at what the illusion or what some of the sort of shadow energy that could be coming through this month is, for some of you, it could be overcoming addiction, talking about any sort of secrets, or dealing with trust. Because for me, when we're looking at relationships and the Ace of Cups, the Devil, and the Three of Cups, that's all about relationships. The Devil is about honesty and facing something that's difficult. It often involves a third party though. So for some of you, be careful this month. There could be someone from the past coming back in, or even just someone new coming in that is trying to kind of get in between you and someone that you care about. Whether it's a loved one or friend or family member, it's not as important. It's just that you really want to be looking at the people in your environment, because the Three of Cups was in the environment, and see who is it that you trust, and is there somebody there that's gossiping? If it's the gossip, it's attached to the Devil card. I'm going to pull the camera down for a second so you can see it. So if someone's gossiping, I don't actually think that it's founded in truth, and you really want to go back to the source. Don't get involved in what they're saying, because it's clear that they're just trying to sort of pull you into perhaps a trap on that. So go back to the person that you care about, give them a chance to speak for themselves. Also press that person and ask them, where did they get this information? Seems like something could be suspect there. The other thing is, there might be an issue of sadness, depression, or when we're looking at what crossed the Ace here, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So money could come through for some of you. And if that's something that you're uncomfortable talking about, you have a lot of money cards this month. I think it's important to be transparent and communicative about anything going on with finances. If there was something that someone loaned you and they're not good about paying you back, or you feel like you need to even up something financially or resource-wise, or again, maybe you gave a lot of time and energy to them and they're not kind of showing up and doing their part. Something's a little bit imbalanced there for some of you, and that has to come through. With the Devil reversed, it's always about honesty, transparency, unconditional love, no strings attached, no expectations, nothing hidden. And so if you can embrace the ideas of honesty and try to get to the root of things, then I think that you can clear this. Let's take each card now as markers for the month rather than just looking at the connection, but I needed to highlight that some of you have some relationship issues that might take front and center. All right, the center card, looking at it solely on its own. Ace of Cups in reverse is really telling you that you have to spend some time and energy taking care of yourself. This is about emotional sort of depletion. So there may be a lot going on where you've given too much, or some event in your life has kind of taken you off guard, and now this sense of not being yourself could actually affect your ability to concentrate, because right on top of that we have the Nine of Pentacles. So if that's happening, do what you need to do. Take a day off, talk to somebody, and make sure that you're okay, so that this doesn't inhibit or prevent or block positive growth with money, because I see a lot of good energy around finance and prosperity this month. To that end, we have the Nine of Pentacles right on top of this. So right at the center, I'm already seeing that there is an option for abundance, of being also able to take something perhaps that you've been working on that's near and dear to your heart. That's why the ace is at the center. And perhaps selling that. But there's an attachment to it for some of you. It could be a house. It could be some craft that you made and that you're trying to sell. It could also be a creative work too that you're trying to put out there, like a book, a painting, or something like that. But I see some nostalgia and some attachment that could also be holding you back from allowing for more prosperity to come in. Now, as I'm looking at deep past and what's sort of affecting your general mood right now, we have the Six of Cups, and it's reversed as well. Now, there's a lot of reversals, but there's also a lot of cards upright. So the key to this month is balance. And whenever there's a reversal, I'm going to try to help you find the balance in it. The Six of Cups, I sometimes look at as a second chance to make reparations with old relationships. The fact that we have this in the past, showing that maybe some of you, there could have been someone that slipped out of your life and you wish that you had had a chance to talk to them. There could be someone with whom you're estranged, because I'm looking at the near future and we have the Six of Swords in reverse, meaning that someone distant could actually be coming back, connecting both sixes. Six of Cups, Six of Swords, both reverse, showing you get a second chance with someone. They could be coming into your life unexpectedly. It might also mean that your own thought process is taking you back to some things in the past that you're trying to process right now, and you get a chance to let go of it. Perhaps you're finally forgiving yourself, or someone who wronged you because of that Devil card. Maybe they took something, maybe they lied to you, maybe you were not being honest with them or with yourself. This month presents an opportunity for you to heal and to release, which is beautiful. As we look at recent past, something that's really going to be affecting you in the first and second weeks of the month, it's very positive energy. We have the Four of Wands. This is a card that it really doesn't matter if it's upright or reverse. It shows eventual growth and stability when it comes to relationships. This is a good month for foundational building with friends, with loved ones, and also if you're just trying to get a start on a business, this is a great start for that. It's interesting that some of you may also be looking at moving or pulling someone in from a different sort of city or office or town. And again, I'm getting that connection to someone that's not from the area that you're at. And that could be a key person that's going to be able to help you. And these cards at the center were connected with a money card. So I think for some of you, this could bring in new money, new opportunities, and it's definitely looking like it has something to do with business. In your crowning position, we have the Princess of Pentacles, which is the equivalent to a Page of Pentacles. And for me, pages are announcements. Could be a contract, it could be learning about something new, sometimes even through word of mouth, which I mentioned. Be careful of that game of telephone where sometimes things get filtered and may not be 100% accurate. But nonetheless, Princess of Pentacles or Page of Pentacles show that there might be some sort of news announcement or shift in a positive way with your finances or with some new opportunity that you have to review. And when I'm looking at the opportunity space for you this month, we actually have the King of Pentacles. This looks like it's a good option for you, but it may involve a move, and that might be something that you may not want. It could also involve travel. The fact that this card is reversed means that there's a little bit of a trade-off for some of you. You may not have been looking for that, and that's something that is going to require some thought. Now, for those of you that don't see a shift happening with jobs, or there's no sort of move or travel, this could be a relationship. When I get two of the same suit, again, this time it's a Page and it's a King of Pentacles, there could be a sort of partnership, but it looks like there's a little bit of an age difference here or an experience difference between the two. So navigate accordingly. Be patient with that partner when they come in or that friend when they come in, because depending on which side of the coin you're on, if you're either the more experienced one or you're needing some mentorship, there's going to need to be this time for things to unravel, and you don't want one side or the other to sort of get upset because of that difference. Let's go ahead now and look at your ego. I talked a bit about the Devil card before, but the main thing that I see with this is to be honest. And if there's something going on that you think is happening, do your best to get information before you make an accusation. And in your life in general, it's just inviting you to let go of things. The card was reversed, so this is a time to give up caffeine, give up smoking, give up drinking, be healthier, let go of vendettas or anger or fear or frustration. Just cleanse yourself. If you're feeling like your life is already headed in the right direction, just do anything you can to get closer and closer to the light that I was looking at in the channeled information. There might be some delays with travel. I do want to kind of honor that as I'm looking at the Six of Swords in reverse. So be really mindful of reservations, making sure that you didn't record the date incorrectly, etc. Just, again, be as diligent as possible. Your outcome card this month is really encouraging you to make some smart choices. The Six of Pentacles is overall good when it comes to finances. It's showing you that you have enough, but it's not showing a crazy amount of abundance. It's saying that there may be some areas where you're going to need to really plan out time-wise, or if you're trying to take a trip, something that I was seeing there, you may need to do some research to find the best deal possible, etc. Let me see if it's illustrated here. Not as much in this particular illustration, but typically you'll see someone holding scales and they have to decide how much to give and to whom that money should go, or that resource should go. So time, money, and your energy. All of these resources are going to have to be rationed a little bit, but you're not going to be in a deficit. It's just choices, okay? Let's go ahead and expand the forecast and take a look at what's coming through with health, wealth, love, and destiny, and we'll get some additional insight there. Starting, of course, first with health, which is your mind, your body, and your spirit. Much like all of the cards this month, the overall energy is active for you. And there's, again, no exception here in your health card. When I see lead, what this is really saying to me is if there's anything going on that you either are worried about or want to change, be proactive this month. Don't wait. Don't wait for something to come to you. And if you're feeling a little bit tired or fatigued, actually just getting a little bit more active in fitness, in meditation, in simply moving is going to help you this month. The other message here is that if you feel like you need someone to keep you accountable, this could be about finding someone to work out with you, finding a teacher or a mentor that can help you. But in general, there may need to be a shift that's going on this month. Begin the action by picking up the phone, making an appointment, getting things started, and then again, if you need someone there to sort of keep you honest, you can find that as well. But you need to be active, you need to be moving, and hopefully associating with people that can keep you on that track this month. I wasn't picking up any specific issues with health. If I were to just kind of review the tarot cards and see if there's anything coming through for you, the one thing that I would say with the Three of Cups card in reverse attached to the Devil is for any of you that have had a problem with addiction, this can be drinking, smoking, or even overeating, you want to really do your best to temper that and avoid anything that can trigger you this month. And again, if you need some help, then find somebody that can assist with that area. But the most that I'm picking up on just in a general is trying not to go to excess, okay? Let's take a look now at your wealth card, and we'll see what's coming through for all types of opportunities in your life, not just your career, but friendships and alliances, and also what kind of energy you're putting out towards the universe for these things as well. The biggest hurdle this month is confidence and self-worth. It's interesting that this self-worth card really goes through all the chakra colors that are affected by that. First, second, and third. The red, the orange, the yellow. And so what I'm seeing with this, if we're kind of to look at what could be causing problems with wealth and also with feeling self-worth, the first thing that comes through is that Devil card in the ego. there's some things this month that you just are either holding on to or have affected you, maybe coming back from the past. There's a present trigger for something from the past. It's really important to build up a little bit of a barrier this month and understand that you know what you're trying to do, you value yourself and your vision, and not everyone is going to be able to get behind you perhaps, and that's okay. If you look at really impactful people in history, they typically stand out because they might not have been popular at the time, they might have been introducing an idea that sounded controversial or sounded like it was way out in left field, but as time progresses, everyone starts to come around. This might be the month where you're putting that new thought, that new version of you, something out there, and you need to give time, you need to give people time to sort of see you with a different lens. So try not to have a sort of knee-jerk reaction, and if they have one, be patient, take a deep breath, and don't allow that to trigger you to say something or do something that could be counterproductive and cut off an opportunity. If necessary, distance yourself from them, separate yourself from them, and just give them time and give yourself time. And I think that's the key way to move past this, because it doesn't seem like it's a permanent card. To me, there's an emotion that brings up the sense of self-worth. This holds you back for a little bit, maybe for taking a leap of faith, or it makes you second guess yourself on, can I do this? Am I worth this? The interesting thing is that some of you may actually be in a position where you just got a new job opportunity or a lead, or there's a chance to move to something better, and that's why that's being triggered, because it's just self-doubt. And if that's the case, I think it's okay to take the leap of faith and to ignore this feeling of, can I do it? This is your announcement, this is the opportunity, and as I said earlier, the opportunity looks pretty good. One last thing that I see when I'm looking at this when it comes to actual investments, property, stocks, things like that. With this, you have to really look at the catalyst that we saw earlier. There could be an investment that looks good on the surface, but as you start to dig in, it's not worth it. So I would be very sort of conservative in new investments this month and try to give yourself that time and think about it. And I think that's what the Six of Swords, the Bat, and the Worthy card are all bringing together, is this idea of sleep on it for a while until you really feel comfortable. That kind of leap of faith, I think, requires a lot of information. And as I saw a little bit earlier, really sort of scanning through the fine print, having somebody come through and explain any sort of legalese that doesn't make sense to you. So we just looked at health and wealth. Let's now take a look at love and see what kind of information is coming through for your relationships this month. We have this perfection card here in your love position, and for me, this is sometimes a feeling of having to be a perfectionist. It could also be a card of not realizing that you're already the way God, yourself, the universe wanted you to be. And there's a need to sort of relax a little bit, to really take stock in all of the blessings in your life, also in your person, in your body, and find a sense of ease with that. Because when you do that, someone else is going to be able to see you through that same unconditional love that hopefully you're giving yourself. It's interesting that in wealth, which is also worth, we have this Worthy card. So this is really saying you are enough, you are worth love in your life. Some of you may deserve better than what you have. And that's why we have a card here that can show not being honest or some sort of illusion happening in a relationship. This can be gossip or a third party coming in. And the important thing here is that you, in and of yourself, are enough. And if that means that you're spending a little bit of time on your own now, maybe not focusing so much on relationships, whether you're in one or not, I feel like there's some self-development, some self-healing that needs to happen. Once you have that sense of, I am enough, I love myself, and I'm worth someone who sees me in the same way, then things are going to balance out when it comes to love. And I would say it also spills over into your money too. Worth and self-worth, finances and emotions, they're very much tied, and that's why there's sometimes overlap when we're looking at those two areas. Let's move along now to your Destiny card. For me, Destiny is always a chance for you to look at where you're headed and see if you like that direction. And if not, you can course correct. It's not set in stone. This is very much like a GPS. This is a very interesting card here. You'll notice that this woman is painting herself to life, basically, and it says, come to life. There may be some of you that have been feeling like the world literally is kind of in black and white, or you've been sort of on the outside looking in. This month you have an encouragement with this card to start to enjoy life a little bit more, to make time, to make some smart choices so that your life is in better balance. And that's really what the Six of Pentacles was in your outcome. So both of these outcome cards are talking to choices, balance, and one of those choices being that it's time for you to sort of spend a little bit of energy on self-development, self-understanding, some joy in your life, because that center card, the Ace of Cups, was reversed. So it's time to fill up this with things that you like, that you appreciate, and that you want to develop in your life. Let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then we'll wrap up this reading. Your channeled message this month was a reminder that you have an infinite source of energy and you yourself are infinite. You're also moving towards a goal, towards an end. So if there's this feeling that you are stuck or that you're not progressing at the speed that you'd like to, just know that a lot of that is the perception of what's going on. Your catalyst was to really pay attention to your intuition over your normal senses. Also, whenever it comes to conversations this month, to really listen to what's going on, listen beneath the words, knowing that sometimes there's a hidden meaning, or someone may be communicating in a nonverbal way about what's going on. Instinct kind of trumps your regular senses this month. As we look at your center card, focus on your happiness. I mentioned at the end, it's really important for you to start to create some things in your life that give you a sense of joy. This is going to propel everything. It's also going to help you with this feeling of safety and self-worth and creativity. It's essentially the way that you can turn this worthy card in the right direction. There's an opportunity coming through for many of you this month that looks good, but there is a trade-off. It could be distance, it could be a move, it could be traveling. There's something about this that is kind of pulling you away from that opportunity. Weigh it out and make sure that you're not stepping away from something that could bring a lot of growth into your life. But feel it out first. You really have to enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not worth taking that leap. There's a second chance with love, relationships, and I would also say cycles in your life. We saw that deep past connection here with the Six of Cups, but we have some interesting cards here with the Devil and the Three of Cups. You need to balance things out. Transparency is important. Going straight to the source and being honest is also really important this month in particular. Relationships overall will be kind of put to the test, but know this, it's also a time where you could start some new ones, and we saw that at the beginning of the month for many of you. Foundationally speaking, this is a time to get back to basics, get back to the source, and if you're not feeling happy with who you're with, then to start to develop better friendships, better relationships, because there are new ones that want to come in for many of you. And as we looked at the expanded forecast, a reminder that this is a very proactive month and a very active month. If there's anything that you want to change or look at, it's really up to you to start that action. And if you need someone to help you stay accountable, don't be afraid to reach out and make that happen. We already touched on the wealth card. Self-worth is really important this month. It could make you doubt an otherwise good opportunity. Know also that you're worth having time and relaxation and appreciation. So if people aren't giving that to you naturally, then start to set up proper parameters and proper limits to make sure it happens. In love, don't be too hard on yourself or others, knowing that you're actually already in a really good space when it comes to basically here, the God, the universe, and yourself. If you can see yourself as a divine instrument, as a divine being, then you'll realize you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present and authentic, and the rest will fall into place. There's a need to have some fun, and that's really what this coming to life card is about. And it harkens back to the center here, which it shows the Ace of Cups in reverse. You need to find things that fill your heart, fill your life with joy, with a sense of fulfillment, with satisfaction. This is going to bring you back to a sense of power, and again, another way for you to start to feel worth all the love, the joy, and the abundance that wants to come into your life. So that brings our monthly reading to a close. I hope it gave you a sense of what's coming through, and more importantly, gave you the confidence and the insight to make the decisions that make the most sense for you. If you ever want to talk a little bit more in depth, either about your own spirituality, about a big decision, or some other curveball that life might have thrown your way, I'm here for you. You can check out the first card and the first link below the video, and you'll see there a list of availability and also rates. So if it makes sense, I'm happy to make time for you. Another way that you can just give back, I mentioned at the beginning, if you like what you saw, you can support the channel. The second card and the second link will allow you to do that. I have a donation page on my website, and you can either do a one-time donation or a recurring one through Patreon. And this really is helpful in helping me buy new decks of cards and, more importantly, just set up the time that's necessary for this. I'd like to take a second for everybody that's ever done that and just say thank you. Everything you saw here, that's a result of your assistance. And if you'd ever felt like you wanted to, click that link and know that I really appreciate it, and it definitely helps me and it helps others because they get to enjoy these videos as well. The third way to give back is super easy. If you haven't already liked or subscribed here, please do that now. And then join me on social media. The third link will take you to my website where you can join me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or subscribe to my newsletter. And if you want to go a step further, you can also share this on your own social media platforms, and know that that really means a lot to me, because that helps connect other people to this message of self-empowerment, of kindling the light within. And that's really why I show up every month. I want to help all of you become brighter, just like the star that we were talking about at the very beginning. So with all of that being said, let's get back to that message of infinite energy. I like to end every month with something that can kind of ground you and give you the that sort of extra edge that you need to get through the month. Whenever you're feeling depleted, I want you to do a meditation where you see the light coming from within your body. Maybe it's a point that you feel that's a little bit depleted. Start to kindle the light there until you start to shine through all the chakras, through every pore in your skin, until eventually you are like a star yourself. Pushing through any of the negativity, pushing through any of the heartache, pushing through anything that feels like you just can't get through it. You can. You are connected to that source energy, and when you allow for that source to come through and flow through you, then you truly are infinite, and anything can happen. All right. I wish you much love, success, and abundance now and always. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your transformation and your journey. I wish you all the best. Until next month.